I've had an incredible amount of difficulty just trying to get this recorded today. So it must be an important message. Maybe you need to hear it too. I've been struggling for several months just to answer God's call. I'm going to talk a little bit about the roadblocks that nobody really tells you about when you decide you're going to work in ministry for Him. Stick around, because here we go. Welcome to the Chronicles of the Christian Drama Queen podcast. I am your host and the original Christian Drama Queen, Lisa Schaefer, and I'm glad that you are here. I can promise you that I know what it's like to think like a lover of Jesus, but live like a hot mess every day. And if you can relate to that, listen, you're in the right place, because everything from the craziness of homeschooling my kids for 25 years to overcoming deep wounds of abandonment and abuse as a child, I want you to stay with me, sister, because I've walked down all of those paths and a lot more, and I've got decades of healing and hope to share with you. So here we go. Here we go, indeed. Cannot even begin to tell you the amount of problems I've had today just trying to get this silly little podcast recorded. Oh, hey, look at this fancy schmancy cup. I can't even tell you where I got this mug. For those of you that watch the video, isn't this fun? This is one of the funnest things I've ever had in my hands. It's this cute little mug that says Queen. It's so me. All right. So I titled today's podcast, Things Nobody Tells You About Following God's Will, because it's just been a really tough week. It's been a really tough week. In fact, it's been a tough couple of months. But I'm going to talk specifically today about some things that have become glaringly obvious to me about answering God's call to minister in any kind of way, because there's just some stuff you need to know. Some things that I was not prepared for that I am all of a sudden having to think about. So first of all, let me tell you how I got here. So for those of you that don't know, I am a retired radio host. I used to operate out of Wichita, Kansas, working for a small market AM Christian radio station, which I absolutely loved. And radio is what, when you get on the air. See, I wasn't looking to get on the air. I went in thinking I've been asked by the station manager, hey, to come in, because I had previously asked him if I could come in and do some housework. So I thought when he called me in, we spoke on Sunday at church, and he said, yeah, why don't you come in on next Saturday? And I said, oh, sure. What do I need to bring my own supplies? And I'm thinking I'm going to be cleaning his bathroom. And he's like, no, I'm going to put you on the air. It's like, okay. I was kind of shocked because I really wasn't looking for a job on the air. But I'll tell you what, when people say it's in your blood, man, it is in your blood, because as soon as I was on the air, I loved it. And for those of you that still follow me, I still have people that follow me on Facebook and on other social media outlets because of the 10 years I spent doing radio back then. I loved it, just fell in love with it. And, I've heard several times that I do have that radio voice. And so that's a gift from God. That's not something I've really worked on. So I've always loved recording. I've always loved just sharing God's word. I've always loved teaching. I've always loved, ministering in church with kids. I loved my youth groups when I was leading youth groups in church. So there've been many things that God has called me to do, or at least I have felt up until this point that God has called me to do things that I thought, He's called me to teach Vacation Bible School. He's called me to sing at funerals and weddings and on Sunday morning service for the special. He has called me to adoption. He's called me to minister to youth group. He's called me to speak from time to time and just give testimony in church. But let me tell you something. Last year, it was probably 2023, when it all started. Might have been 2021, but I'm going to say 2023 because that's when the Bible study was published. Before I wrote it, it only took me a couple of months to write once I got to the place where I realized what the Lord was telling me to do. But the message of freedom and peace for those who have been traumatized by abandonment or physical abuse, even emotional abuse, that message The enemy does not want to get out. So when I decided to write the Bible study, when I decided he was calling me to do more than just talk one-on-one from time to time with friends, it was after he had said to me, "Go home, I want you to write a book." And when I came home, I said, "Okay, what do I write about?" Because I homeschooled 25 years. I've got all kinds of, stuff I could share with you about that journey. We have 3 adopted children. They all have their own baggage and things that we dealt with there. We've dealt with addictions in our family. We've dealt with interracial relationships in our family. We have dealt with just infertility. We dealt with just dysfunction. There have been all kinds of things that we've dealt with in the life. My husband and I have been married 38 years next week. So they're just this history, huge amounts of history of God's redemption and his work. And when he gave me the message that said, "I want you to talk about the thing that I've redeemed the most in you, what you have found me to be the most redemptive and the most powerful and the most miraculous in your own life." And that came to me it was like a waterfall, it's like sitting under Niagara Falls, because once I realized what that message was, and that was the calling he had on my life, it was easy to know what it was. It's not been easy to do, but it has been easy to know what it is. So he called me to give other traumatized, abused, victimized women the path to freedom in forgiving their perpetrators. Now, for me, one of my perpetrators was my own father. He abandoned me when I was very, very young, and I carried the scars of that unwantedness, that abandonment, carried that for many, many, many years, 3 or 4 decades. And it wasn't until right before he died that I realized God could give me the ability to forgive him, even though he never asked for it. My father never asked for forgiveness. But I also had some trauma from abuse as a child that I thought I had dealt with because I had kind of tucked it away. But I was realizing that feelings of unwantedness, being uncherished and undesirable, feelings of not deserving for God's love, I would continue to hold my own sin against me. Listen, though that message followed me, that feeling followed me 40 years easily, maybe 50. Okay. And so when God said, but when I gave you the ability to forgive the way that I forgive, meaning I could even love someone that had hurt me so badly. That was big. That's a big message. It's a big, powerful message to be able to tell women who've been abandoned. Now, I can't speak to men. I mean, I can tell you honestly, I believe that the path to freedom through forgiveness is the same. You have to understand who God says you are. You have to understand the importance of his word and whether or not it's true. You have to understand who God says he is. And you also have to understand who God says your perpetrator is. And once you get through that path, once you start down that journey, the redemption to be found there, the freedom that is there, is a powerful, miraculous thing. And let me tell you something. From the moment I set out to do the podcast to share that message, from the moment I set out to publish the Bible study and get it in the hands of women that were suffering, from the moment I began to say to the Lord, "Okay, my time is yours," I've been doing nothing but putting out fires ever since. The fiery darts of the devil they are aimed at you, and he does not want this message getting out. And I know that. And I used to think that was kind of just a Christian platitude. "Oh, well, you must be knowing you're doing the right thing because Satan won't leave you alone." And I'd hear that. I understood it in my head, but I hadn't really experienced before that kind of aggression from the enemy of my soul, the enemy of the souls of the women I'm trying to minister to and share God's love and forgiveness and the miraculous ability and grace he gives us to forgive others. That is a powerful message. And it has been nonstop. It's been nonstop stuff in my life that I've had to deal with. Some of it's been financial, some of it's been physical, some of it's been with my businesses. I have 2 businesses. Some of it's been through the coaching. Listen, do you know that I actually I went through a coaching course, and if you haven't looked at Purpose Beyond Profit, please take a look at Purpose Beyond Profit Entrepreneurship, because that guy knows what he's talking about. Jeremy Reyes, he knows what he's talking about. He gave me this great step-by-step program to go through. Okay, so I'm not I'm not preaching a commercial. I'm just telling you, there were months and months and months of no direction. I mean, I had clarity of the calling. I knew God was calling me to minister. And, my mission is to help other women who've been victimized and traumatized by either abandonment or abuse to find a way to forgive their perpetrators and even find gratitude for a painful past, which seems so impossible. Without the bigness of God, the hugeness of God, the omnipotent power of God, it ain't possible. It ain't possible. You cannot forgive the way God wants us and tells us we can forgive in His Word if you don't understand the truths about who you are, who He is, how powerful the Word is, and who your perpetrator really is. Okay, so those are some truths that you have to know. That is a powerful message. And from the moment I set out to share it, and my coach, Jeremy, started helping me step by step put a coaching plan together so that I could walk people through it. It wasn't just about saying it's out there, it was about walking people through it. I'm going to tell you something. The enemy has been at my throat almost nonstop ever since. It has been one thing after another. And now he's really making me mad because illness is striking people that I love. Illness is striking people that I love. There are some things that nobody tells you when you decide, yes, you're going to follow God's will, especially if He's called you into any kind of ministry. It ain't going to be easy. He will open doors that you will be able to walk through, and that will seem fantastic. But don't think for a moment the enemy is not going to try and trip you up through the doorway of each door, because that's exactly what he's going to try and do. I have doubted myself, which I don't really have a problem with, because I believe all of this is from God. All of it's from the Spirit of our holy and wonderful God. I believe that. So I don't have a problem not believing in myself, because I just hand over all my inadequacies and say, here you go, Jesus, take it over. You can have this inadequacy because His strength is perfect when my strength is gone. And I know that. So I'm good with not having a whole lot of self-esteem about my ability to facilitate freedom for other people. Jesus is the one that's caused this, put all of this in motion. I have no doubt about that. But I'm telling you what, the enemy has done everything from give me sleepless nights and try to prevent me from sleeping, lied to me about whether or not God really wants me to do this. He has presented me with all kinds of financial problems, because it does cost money. The coaching I took cost a little bit of money. The technology that I've had to purchase has cost a little money. The programs that I use, my StreamYard and my professional stuff that I use to edit, that has cost me some money. There's been some things, and I've just had to trust Jesus and fork it over. You just write the check and hope it's going to come through. And so far, so good. But I've also had these other things come up with my businesses that have been financial. I've had to hire new people. I've had to find employees. I've had to do interviews I've never had to do before. There's all kinds of stuff. And today, here was the issue. Today, the issue was your equipment's going to fall apart. I mean, literally, microphone stand fell apart in my lap. I'd like to tell you that it's really easy when you're under attack, or when you feel like you're under attack. I'd like to tell you it's really easy to just laugh it off. But in the last few months that I've been striving to serve God with this ministry, which is His, it's all His. It's the ministry of forgiveness and healing to be had through that forgiveness. That is from God alone. It is only from Jesus. It's not mine. I don't own that message. I'm just facilitating it because I've experienced it myself. But I'm telling you, there's a struggle. We don't fight against flesh and blood. But the battle is real, and it rages all the time. And the moment you say to Him, okay, Lord, use me, use my story, because my story matters and I know it matters, and you want to use it. Once you say that, you have to be prepared for the onslaught of fiery darts that's coming, because it's coming. And now it's gone to the place where there's not, it's not so much financial stuff as it is, technology stuff. I'm having things like my computer falling apart and running out of room, and my microphone breaking, and my headset not working anymore, and stuff like that. But on top of that, illness has come to visit my family. And I'm praying and lifting up each one I want Jesus to heal them. It will be a powerful message if he would heal them. The enemy continues to attack my children. They have their own struggles to deal with, and their stories are not my own, but I am telling you, the enemy has been attacking them I will tell you what I believe, and this is a whole nother podcast, but it's coming. My children have all been adopted through situations that most of the world would say they did not deserve to live through, that they should have been aborted. Okay? So you can come up, use your imagination for the types of things that the world says, well, that life is worth sacrificing then because they don't deserve to live and they wouldn't have a very high quality value of life anyway. Right? You know that story. You've heard that. That's just a big fat ass lie. I'm just saying. It's just a big fat lie. But there have just been, since I decided, okay, Lord, and I'm not even saying I decided. What I'm saying is God said to me, this is the story I want you to tell, and I need you to start telling it now. So I start telling it, and immediately the enemy says, you want to bet? I'm going to stand in your way. So we rebuke the enemy in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and by the power of his blood, and we keep pressing forward with a message of redemption and healing and hope and peace. And I claim that today by the power of his name. But I want you to understand there are a lot of things nobody tells you about following God's will. So you better not be thinking you're going to go by yourself and do it, because it doesn't work that way. And I guess that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks for joining me today on the Chronicles of the Christian Drama Queen podcast. I am your host, Lisa Schaefer. There are lots of ways to find me on social media. Of course, I'm on Facebook, and I'm also available on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel. It's called Christian Drama Queen. You can go check out the videos of these podcasts right there on that YouTube channel. There's a website that you can go to just find out a little bit more about me. It's ChristianDramaQueen.com, and you can always email me, same place, Lisa@ChristianDramaQueen.com. Don't forget to share me with a friend, guys. Like me, shoot me some hearts, fill out those comments, make sure that you've given me a rating or a review of some sort, because listen, the only way that other people find out we're here is for you to let them know that I'm here. And listen, we not only appreciate that, we really believe that God's going to use it. And you know I love you. All right. Now, before I sign off today, I want to tell you guys about something else that's going on, because the coaching website is all up and ready to go. You can find me by going to freedom.christiandramaqueen.com. freedom.christiandramaqueen.com. Sign up for some of my free resources there, and we can visit about coaching you through the Freedom Through Forgiveness coaching calls. I'd be happy to share those with you. And again, you know I love you.